afloat on the Nile. Since antiquity, many kinds of boat have run the course of its waters, illustrating the reliance on the river not only for irrigation, but also travel. We sleep in a felucca on the water tonight, as countless have done for centuries, and in the morning, with the new Aswan city bridge and sleeping arrangements receding into the distance, we say goodbye to Aswan and hello to Kom Ombo. The Temple of Kom Ombo was constructed during the Ptolemaic dynasty period, built of predominantly limestone and some granite materials. Originally of the ancient Egyptian territorial division of Ombos, the temple's design is duplicated along a main axis to reflect its unique distinction as a structure of twin dedications, which is to say the temple was formed to worship two sets of gods. Cut into the limestone walls are bas-reliefs of the crocodile god Sobek, worshipped for protection against the dangers of the Nile, as well as Hathor, the prime concept of femininity in the Egyptian pantheon, and Khonshu, god of the moon. The second set of gods found in Kom Ombo are Horus, a form of Horus, Tasenenofret, a form of Hathor, accompanied by their child Panet Tawe, called the Lord of Two Lands. As such, the temple consists of two entrances, and two sets of halls, courts, and sanctuaries, with additions to the temple structures persistent throughout the Ptolemaic dynasty. Although the temple was constructed on an elevated sandy plateau, its close proximity to the Nile caused damage to temple infrastructure from repeated flooding, as well as further destruction from earthquakes in the region. Additionally, further deconstruction occurred from post-Ptolemaic builders using the temple limestone in other major architectural projects, and defacement of the reliefs is evident on the columns and walls of the temple from its brief period as a Coptic Orthodox church. Our guide Arafa tells us that although Kom Ombo was a major location during its time, it was actually discovered buried under sand beneath a barn-like building in the modern era before its eventual clearing and restoration. The present remains of Kom Ombo are joined by the Crocodile Museum, where several specimens of the approximately 300 mummified crocodiles discovered amongst the temple grounds are on display. It's nearly 3 hours to our next stop in Luxor, some 200 kilometers to the north, and life along the Nile is active and busy as ever. The land immediately next to the riverbank is green, full of crop growth and flora, and punctuated by the broken ground of new building projects. The land on the other side of the street we're traveling on, across from the same train tracks that brought us south and stretching into the Masa Alam Desert to the east, underscores how important the Nile waters are to this especially arid region. After a short break upon arrival in Luxor, we set out in the golden hours of the day to the next location, the Temple of Karnak. Originally part of the ancient municipality of Thebes, which was the former capital of the Middle and New Kingdoms of ancient Egypt, Karnak itself is actually a complex of 4 large temples, the largest and singularly accessible being the precinct of Amun-Re. Construction of the temple was contributed to in totality by about 30 pharaohs, beginning in the Middle Kingdom era into the Ptolemaic dynasty period. The subsequent dynasties of Amenhotep, Thutmose, Seti, and Ramesses built major components of Amun-Re, circulating outward from the initial developments of Senesret, the first Thutmose and Amenhotep, and the pharaoh queen Hatshepsut. This means that the first things we encounter at the outer reaches of the precinct of Amun-Re, such as the first pylon of the exterior wall surrounding the temple grounds, were amongst the last to be built. The ram-headed lion sculptures seen here are reliefs of the god Amun, chief deity of Thebes, considered a god of the sun and fertility. In this form, lining the corridor of limestone sphinxes, he is called Ka-Mut-Eth. As a result of the multitudinous dynastic contributions, evidence of a geological variety is present throughout Karnak, with sandstone, limestone, alabaster, and at least 2 kinds of granite found in major temple infrastructure and sculptures. Scenes from various military campaigns, theological dedications, heroic achievements, and other commemorations are cut and painted into the walls and pillars of Karnak. But with that long history comes a sense of demonstrable erasure. Legacy is a persistent theme of Karnak, with each ruler adding to and subtracting from antecedent contributions, and the Coptic Christian, Greek, and Roman occupations of Egypt are evinced by graffiti and defacement of monuments. As with other temples, the reappropriation of stone for newer constructs is visible everywhere, and the removal of rival legacies is marked by broken and missing facades. Although efforts at preservation and reconstruction are ongoing, some of the history at Karnak is still lost to the hammer, chisel, and time.